Hello and welcome to A Chapter a Day. It is Monday, February the 12th, and we are on chapter 43. I will be reading Genesis chapter 43 today. But as the custom is, I will go ahead and review chapter 42, which I read yesterday. And in chapter 42 of Genesis, we encountered Jacob, um, knowing that his sons were, that there was famine in the land. So he told his sons and they to go down into Egypt to get corn. And Joseph's 10 brothers, now there were 11 of them left, but Benjamin was the youngest. And being Rachel's son, and being Joseph's brother, whom he already lost, Joseph, he did not, I believe Jacob did not want to send the younger one out with the other brothers to buy the corn. So they all went, 10 of them, and while they were there, Joseph recognized them. And you know the irony of it all? The same dream that they hated him for, where the sheaves were bowing down, their sheaves to his sheep, what happened? They bowed to him because he's now like almost the Pharaoh or king of Egypt. Duh. You know what? A lot of times people are going to hate you for what God has in store for you. But it is what it is. What God has for you is for you. There is nothing. If God is blessing you, nobody can take it away. And if there is something that God has for you, you are going to receive it, whether other people like it or not. And here is a good example of that. His brethren, even his father, was kind of upset about the whole fact that he was dreaming that he would be bowed down to. What's happening here? Duh. In chapter 42, they are bowing to him. Prophecy fulfilled. Case closed. Okay, now he knew them. He recognized them, but they didn't even recognize him. In their minds, he was dead. Okay? And he kind of tested them. He himself remembered the dream where the 11 sheaves bowed down to his sheaf. Here it is. Prophecy fulfilled. So now that he is in charge of the storehouses for Pharaoh, they have to come to him in order to purchase the corn. He recognizes them. They don't recognize him. He wants to see, oh my goodness, are these men still as mean as they were when I left them the last time, when they sold me into slavery? Well, so he does a good test with them. And he accuses them of being spies. So the eldest one, I believe it was it the eldest one? Let's see which one was doing the talking mostly. It really doesn't say. It just said they were talking, So it seemed like all of them were responding maybe. And they were telling him, we are one man's son. We have all come here to buy corn. We are not spies. But they had no clue who he was. And he kind of set up a little test for them. He said, you know what? If you're not spies and if what you're telling me is true, you're all brothers, and one is not because you think he's dead, and the other one, he's too young, he didn't come with you. Bring the young one when you're coming back, or else don't come back. And for surety, I'm keeping this one, Simeon. And I think Simeon was the one that sold him, yeah. He put him into prison, and he had all of them in prison for a while. And then he released them after 3 days and let Simeon remain as surety that they will come back with the youngest brother. So Reuben is saying that he will give a surety that Benjamin will be fine, but his father is not buying that. He says, you know what? You're going to take me to my grave if I go send Benjamin with y'all and he gets into some sort of trouble. Or the same problem happens like with Joseph. That's it. You're going to send me to my grave. So that's where we left off. They trying to convince their father that they need to go back with Benjamin in order that Simeon will be released. Okay? So here goes Genesis chapter 43. And the famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass, when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, You shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. But if thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, You shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, Wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether you had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us straitly of our state and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have you another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned the second time. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Peradventure it was an oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, go unto the man. And God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home and slay, and make ready, and for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, Because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food, and it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And our money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you, fear not. Your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet. And he gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph. Came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom ye spake, is he yet alive? And they answered, Thy servant our father is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom you spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother. And he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and went out, and refrained himself, and said, Set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves. For the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews. For that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's messes was 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. And that is the end of the reading of chapter 43. Wow. That was another interesting chapter. A lot of things are unfolding concerning Joseph and his brothers. And until our next reading, I hope you have a good day. Thank you for viewing.